Hello, everybody, and I would like to thank my wonderful subscribers. Hello, everybody. I know it's been a long time, but today we're going to be watching more Mr. Nightmare, and it's going to be 3 disturbing true police horror stories. So yeah, I don't know if they're gonna be written by police officers or if the police officers are the horror. But you know what? Let's just get into it right now. Let's just do it. I bet it will be fun.
As governor, Matt Mahan will take on tough jobs and focus on the basics. Matt Mahan for governor.
I wonder how many people actually use those ads to decide their political voting. Oh, there we go. Assignment. Police horror stories. Story 1 by Adam.
I've been a canine handler for almost 9 years.
Okay.
My partner is a 4-year-old German Shepherd named Rex.
Yeah.
He's trained in tracking and narcotics detection.
Ah,
He's solid.
God.
He doesn't spook easily. I've taken him into warehouses, abandoned houses, woods at night, and he's always steady.
Good.
That's why what happened that night stuck with me.
He got
We were called in
sedated?
to assist patrol on a house search after a foot pursuit in the area.
Yeah.
Officers had attempted to stop a male suspect a few blocks away, and he ran. They chased him through backyards and lost sight of him near this property.
Uh-huh.
A side gate to the yard was found open, and the back door of the house was unlocked. Neighbors had also reported hearing a struggle in the backyard, which added to the urgency. Patrol swept the first floor, but weren't comfortable calling it safe. They
Okay.
believe the suspect may have forced his way inside and could still be hiding somewhere in the house. Rex and I arrived about 20 minutes
Is he
later.
gonna find the
The house was
person?
a 2-story place in a quiet subdivision. There were no signs of forced entry from the front. The officers on the scene briefed me quickly. Long story short, they told me there were no obvious signs of struggle.
Okay.
Just the open access at the rear of the house and the fact that the suspect had vanished within yards of it. I put Rex on a short leash and gave him the search command. He
Okay.
pulled forward immediately,
Ooh.
moving from room to room on the first floor.
Good
The living
doggy.
room was clear, kitchen was clear, and laundry room was clear, so we moved upstairs.
Yeah.
Up there was a narrow hallway with 3 bedrooms and a bathroom. There was no fresh air up there and no draft. All the windows seemed to be closed. As to be expected, as the neighbor reported that the owners of this house were not in town. Rex and I went into the first bedroom, then the second bedroom. Then he pulled toward the bathroom at the end of the
Okay.
hall.
Is there something
I
in
examined the
there?
little bathroom, and overall it seemed clean. Nothing was out of place in any of the rooms.
What about the puppy?
Rex sniffed around the room, the edge of the vanity, the floor, then he froze.
The
His ears
bathtub?
went forward, and his body stiffened up. He started growling, looking
Oh.
outside the bathroom door. His growls then turned to barks. He was staring out into the hallway,
Hurry,
growling and
go,
barking at
go.
something out there. I stepped backwards out of the bathroom with him. "What is it?"
Okay.
I said quietly. Rex was locked onto something down the hallway.
Well, go
At the
towards
very
it.
end, near the last bedroom door, I saw what he was barking at.
What?
This
Oh.
figure standing there. This tall, dark, completely still figure, and it didn't
Get
look
him.
like any of the officers downstairs. They also would have in some way announced their presence to me.
Duh.
I identified myself as police, and that there was a canine with me.
Yeah,
But
he
there
can
was no
hear it.
response to this. Then I just flat out asked, "Who is that?" Still no response. Rex was pulling in the opposite direction,
Oh.
something I'd never seen him do before.
He
He didn't
running?
want to go down the hall. Then the figure turned and walked into the bedroom at the end of the hall.
What? He
I knew every
walked?
officer on scene. I knew where they were positioned.
Yeah?
None of them were upstairs with me. Rex
Oh.
planted his feet when I tried to move forward.
Come on,
Pulled
puppy, we
backwards
have
hard.
to.
He did not want to go down that hallway.
Oh my god.
I drew my weapon and said over the radio that I have possibly located the suspect at the end
Good.
bedroom. Start
Good.
making your way up. I pulled Rex forward, and he resisted the entire
Come
way.
on.
He kept looking at me like he didn't understand why I was making him go. When we
Because
reached the
it's our
bedroom doorway,
job.
he refused to cross with me. I stepped into the room first with my
Bad
gun
pupper.
raised, but it was empty. Like, completely empty.
What?
Just a bed against the wall and a
Check
dresser
the
across
bed!
from it.
Under the bed!
I waited for the others to get up there before fully entering the room. And when we finally entered,
What?
there was no one standing in there or hiding under the bed.
Ah.
The window was closed and even the closet was empty. There was no kind of attic hatch or crawl space door.
What about the
Rex
puppy?
stayed in the hallway. He wouldn't step foot into the room. I expected the others to doubt me, but they saw Rex and the way he was acting.
Yeah. I don't know, I have a feeling. Maybe it is a dumb feeling. But I think that if there was something there, if there wasn't anything there, the puppy might go in. I don't know, I have a feeling that if the dog is still afraid, there might be something to be afraid of.
One of them tried coaxing him into the room.
Come on.
He refused.
Ah.
We searched every inch of that bedroom.
Maybe he did Dill
We checked the
smell
walls
him.
for false panels. We checked the bathroom again.
Nothing?
We checked the other bedroom. There was not a single trapdoor anywhere. If it weren't for Rex, I feel like I'd have gone crazy.
Yeah.
After about 20 minutes, I told the others I had to take Rex out of there.
Yeah.
But before we left, he kept glancing back down the hall at that bedroom.
Ooh.
As soon as we stepped outside into the night air, he relaxed slightly.
Okay.
When he was in his crate, he curled up immediately, but he didn't look at me the way he usually does after a search.
What did he look?
Patrol wrapped up not long after. I've replayed that moment 1,000 times in my head.
Yeah.
I think I believe it was a real person.
Yeah.
A suspect even. But I don't know how they escaped that room. Or
Yeah,
why Rex
then?
behaved that way. Maybe more suspicious people than me will say what Rex and I saw was a ghost.
Oh.
Rex has never reacted like
Puppy
that
talk.
before, or since. He's tracked armed suspects without hesitation and entered a lot more stressful environments than that house. But that room, he wouldn't step inside. I trust that dog more than I trust my own instincts.
Aww.
Just about everyone in my department has at least one unexplainable night call, and this one was mine.
I don't believe the unexplainable ever truly exists. There's only some explanation you can give. Okay. How did he get out? Well, he had to have gotten out. If he came in, he must... he had to still be there. Did you check the bed? Did you check between the mattress and the bed? You said nobody was under the bed. But you never said inside of the bed. Did your men do a pat down of the bed? Were there any air vents? You said there were no hidden crawl spaces, but I can't remember if you said air vents. He might have gone that way. So yeah. And the fact that you and your puppy both saw it had me pretty damn convinced that it was a real person you guys saw. And real people can't just disappear. There's some sort of trick to it, even if it's an unexplainable one. And the house was dark. Did you guys turn on the lights? I assume you did. So, yeah.
One was mine.
Okay. Okay, that was decent research theory. But story number 2 is by Ellen Pierce.
When I turned 21, I joined the police force in a remote town that I won't name.
Okay.
The department needed
Makes
new
sense.
officers, and I was a young father who needed money. So
Oh.
the timing was perfect.
You have a kid?
Because I was a rookie, they assigned me to the night shift. It ran from 6 at night to 6 in the morning.
Wow.
The guys at the station sometimes tease me about my hours, saying that I always worked the crummiest shifts.
Really?
I actually didn't mind them. I've always been a night owl.
Okay.
Besides busting people for speeding and pulling over the occasional drunk driver,
It's
I spent
safe.
most nights sitting back listening to podcasts.
Yeah.
In a weird way, it was kind of relaxing.
I mean, I bet.
After a year in the department, something happened one night that changed everything.
What?
A severe thunderstorm rolled into town and caused major power outages.
Ooh.
Torrential downpour flooded most of the major roads.
Sad.
To be in the best position possible when accident reports came in, I parked my cruiser in a parking lot in the middle of town.
Yeah.
At 2 a.m., our dispatcher Claire radioed in. She reported that someone who sounded like an adult male claimed to
Yeah.
have been kidnapped.
Oh.
They told her they were held captive inside someone's home. Then the call ended.
Well, that's how you
When
have
she
to trap.
redialed, the caller didn't answer. My cruiser had a built-in computer display that showed all the call details.
Okay.
Based on the address, I was about 10 minutes away.
That's good.
So I was probably the closest officer. I
Hurry.
radioed in and told her I'd respond. I also requested backup.
Ooh,
Another
and
new
you're
officer
lucky
named Chris
too.
chimed in and said he'd be on location in 5. Claire
Wow.
clicked on her radio,
Nice,
but
huh?
hesitated for a few seconds over the static. Then she said the caller sounded like they were altering their voice in some way,
Really?
possibly through digital means, to make themselves sound like a child. She
Oh.
used the specific phrase, like a young girl. She concluded that officers should proceed with extreme caution.
Yeah.
All of us were pretty close at the station,
Oh,
so we
no.
felt nervous for one another during high-risk cases like this.
Well, that's
I
good.
radioed back and
Teamwork.
said 10-4, then drove off to the scene. When I
Good
turned into the
camaraderie.
neighborhood, I saw that every single street lamp was out. The entire block had lost power.
No.
That meant we would have low visibility into the home we were investigating,
Yeah.
which put us in greater danger. I followed my GPS to the end of the street where the house was, and I saw that Chris had already beaten me. His
She
cruiser
said
was idling in
5,
front
you
of the
said
house.
10.
I pulled up next to him and rolled down my window. Chris commented on the home's poor condition. I glanced ahead, taking it in for myself. The grass was knee-high. Overgrown bushes blocked out the windows. The roof was dented in several areas and had a ton of missing shingles. It looked completely abandoned.
Yeah, that's why
This set
people
off
would
alarm
use it
bells
for
in my head.
kidnapping.
You can gather a lot about someone's mental state by how they treat their living space.
Poor
I
you.
told Chris I'd take the lead.
Really?
Both stepped out of our cruisers into the pouring rain, opened our umbrellas,
Doesn't
and
sound
followed a
that
waterlogged
smart.
path up to the door. Chris clicked on his flashlight. Whenever a second officer like Chris is present during an investigation,
Yeah.
their entire job is to protect the leading officer by monitoring the suspect's body language.
That's
If the
good.
suspect makes a move on the cop that's interrogating them, they neutralize the threat.
Yay.
Chris made the perfect backup because he was both observant and calm under pressure. This allowed me to
Good
focus solely
trait,
on the
good
suspect's
trait.
story and if I was hearing the truth. When we reached the door, I rang the bell.
But you don't have
And
a
we stood
suspect
there,
yet.
listening for movement inside. After a few seconds, footsteps shuffled up to the door.
Or
Then
do
they
you?
paused. Whoever was on the other side was completely still, just waiting. A feeling came over me that we were being watched.
Maybe.
Slowly, my gaze drifted over to the peephole.
Oh.
As soon as I made eye contact, a distorted shape moved back, like
Oh,
whoever
no.
was watching us had pulled their head away. If you're in there, we'd like to ask you a few questions. Open up, please, I said. They
Good.
froze again, as if they were thinking about what to do next.
What
Then
are
the
you
lock
gonna
started
do?
turning and the door creaked open,
Oh,
but only by a foot. From
okay.
the darkness, a man peeked out of the crack. He looked like he was in his early 30s.
Yeah.
He was overweight, balding, and wore thick-brimmed glasses.
Damn.
I took a single look
He's
into
a
his eyes
user.
and sensed that he was hiding something. I informed him that we'd received a call from his address of someone claiming to have been kidnapped.
Well, don't you
The
tell
man acted
him.
confused. He apologized.
But you do
and told
have
us
to
it
tell
must have been
him.
a pocket dial. I asked him if it was a
How?
pocket dial, then how could he explain the voice in the phone call?
Yeah.
For a split second, the man averted his gaze.
A
then said
movie.
he didn't know anything about a voice. I asked him if there was anyone else in the house, and he said he lived alone. Then I told him that
Okay.
for safety reasons, we needed to have a look inside. Not without a warrant, he said.
Okay, we
These
have
days, a
one.
warrant can be obtained in minutes. I went back to my cruiser, called dispatch, and requested communication with the on-call magistrate.
Okay.
5 minutes later, Claire came back on the radio and told me the judge approved a telephonic warrant and emailed it.
Damn.
We were clear.
So easy. Yeah, so incredibly easy. And, I mean, that's how it should be, you know. I mean, I get it, you know. You probably don't want police officers to be able to enter houses for no reason, but I mean, this made it sound incredibly easy to do. I mean, I guess, like, I mean, it does, like, the police officer probably just explained the situation. Maybe the judge got to hear the phone call that was sent. But I don't know. Sounds a little too easy. But the main character is a police officer, which means they're the good guys.
To answer. I showed the warrant to the man. He reluctantly pulled the door open,
Yeah, you
and
have
I could
to,
see that his
butthole.
hands were visibly shaking. I clicked on my own flashlight and stepped inside.
Turn on the
Putrid
light.
smell immediately hit
Oh, the
me.
blackout. I'm an
I
idiot.
scanned around to find the source and saw a hallway straight ahead and a room directly to my right. I shined my light into the room and saw what looked like a living room. It was
Okay.
absolutely disgusting. Piles of clothes and stacks of dirty dishes were spread across the
Did
carpet.
he look dirty?
Cockroaches were even crawling all over them.
Oh.
A couch that looked like it was pulled off the side of the road sat at an angle against the
Why?
wall. This man obviously used this room as his living space. I'd seen these sorts of living conditions in drug cases before.
Yeah?
When I turned to look back at the man, he shifted uncomfortably.
What?
I made a mental note to check for paraphernalia once I'd confirmed the house was safe.
Is that no
Then I
word
stepped
but
toward the
drugs?
hallway. My foot struck something.
Oh.
I looked down. In the beam of my
A
flashlight,
dollhouse?
I saw a pink Barbie doll playhouse that I knew I'd seen before.
Oh.
I thought about it and realized I'd bought this exact set for my daughter last year on Christmas.
That's
I
nice.
asked the man if he had kids. He said no.
I
He explained
hope
to us
not.
that sometimes his nieces came over, so he kept a few toys around for them.
Okay.
Chris and I exchanged a look. No mother in their right mind
Yeah,
would allow children
no.
into this environment. I told him
No
this was his
good
last
mother.
chance to tell me if anyone else was in the house. He assured me there wasn't. I started my way down the hallway, and the man followed, saying that nothing was down there.
Okay.
Chris yanked him
Yeah,
back
let's
by his
do it.
arm and ordered him to stay put. The hallway had an open room on either side and a closed door at the end, which was probably the basement. I peeked inside the first room.
Okay, now this is interesting. I actually do wonder what the situation is. Because at first, it sounded like, oh hey, somebody is pretending to be a little Dale. In order to, like, someone is pretending to be a little Dale in order to lure people in so they could do something to them. But now, I'm not so sure. We have a dollhouse, so does that imply that there actually is a real little Dale? You would think that if the man wanted to lure them in, he would be a bit nicer and say, "You don't need a warrant, come right in, officers." And then he would do whatever he wanted to them. Because the reason why I thought it was a fake kidnapping is because of the voice alteration that the dispatcher talked about. But now, oh,
Scanning from right to left,
I don't know.
and saw more children's toys and even items like diapers scattered across the floor.
okay.
In the corner, the dark shape of a person was hunched over.
What?
I drew
Oh,
my weapon,
oh God.
only to realize
Oh.
that it was a doll sagging its head down in a
What
rocking
the
chair.
fuck?
The shock of that visual
Oh,
made my
God.
heart pound.
Oh,
I leaned
God.
against the door frame
Oh,
and
God.
steadied my breathing.
Oh, God.
Chris asked me what I had seen. Before I could respond, I started studying the doll.
What?
It was the largest one I'd ever seen,
It's
every
real
bit as
God.
big as a person,
Oh, God.
and the man had dressed it in women's clothing.
Oh,
On the bed beside
Oh.
it, ladies' blouses, jeans, and lingerie were
That might
folded
be
into
real.
neat piles.
God.
Each pile was separated by color.
Yeah?
Meanwhile, the rest of the house was a pigsty.
Yeah.
What was happening in this room felt wrong on many different levels.
Are you kidding me? Of course
All
it
clear,
does.
I told Chris. I
You
moved
call that
further down the
clear?
hall and glanced into the second bedroom.
What?
This one was empty.
Oh, thank God.
I reached the final door at the end of the hall when from behind me, the man called and asked if I'd like to see the upstairs instead. I told him
No.
yes, but first I was going to see the basement.
Yeah.
The man
We
said
go
again
at
that
my
there was nothing
order.
down there, and I heard Chris tell the man to stay still,
Yeah.
which meant he was probably trying to follow me down the hall. The closer I moved into this part of the house, the more agitated he became. I reached for the handle, twisted the knob, and pushed the door open. It squealed.
The person does realize that no matter what he says, it's only damning him further, right? The more you tell him not to do it, the more sus you look. At that point, my priorities have shifted from I'm gonna try to make him avoid it to I better get the hell out of here. Because, okay, let's say I'm a kidnapper and the person is in the basement. If I can't convince them easily, then I'm gonna try to run away. I would maybe say one time, "Hey, do you want to check out the attic?" And then if they say no, and say, "I'm checking the basement first," then I'm gonna have to start running away. Because you can't convince the officers to not check a room.
on its own hinges. A set of wooden steps descended into a pitch-black room.
Yeah?
I shined my light down. I
What?
could only see the area that surrounded the landing. It
Okay.
looked equally as messy as the upstairs.
Ew.
From deep inside the room, in an area I couldn't see, something rattled. I
Okay.
told Chris that I heard movement. The man responded instead, apologizing to me and Chris over and over.
Why?
Even though it was the last thing I wanted to do, I had no choice.
What?
The man was lying to us. Someone was down there.
Yeah.
I headed down the staircase.
Oh, God.
Each step creaked under my weight. The rattling noise from inside the room grew louder. Behind me, the man repeatedly begged us to stop looking around.
Why?
I neared the landing and swept my
They're not
flashlight
gonna
across
work.
stacks of boxes.
Oh, God.
No one appeared in my line of sight.
Okay.
Across the room, there was another door. The noise was coming from there. I drew my weapon.
Oh,
I
God.
commanded whoever was inside to come out slowly with their hands up. Whoever was inside stopped moving. I shouted the same command a second time.
Come on.
The door remained shut. I crossed the room, sliding between boxes
Oh,
and old
God.
furniture that blocked the way. My sights were trained on the door. When I stood within several feet, I paused,
Okay.
listening. Whoever was inside also remained perfectly still.
Okay.
My anxiety ticked
Why?
up with each second. So many things could go wrong in this situation.
What?
I moved to the side
Oh,
of the door
no.
frame in case they were armed and tried to fire through the door.
Okay.
I reached for the knob, grabbed on, and twisted. Then I swung the door open. I was still hidden to the side of the frame.
Okay.
If anything besides empty hands emerged, I would have to use deadly force.
Oh, shit.
After several agonizing moments, nothing came. I said a quick prayer, then aimed my weapon right into the room.
Oh, God.
What I saw, I can't go into detail on,
What?
but basically, this is what happened. A man in his mid-40s was being held captive in that basement.
Shit.
He was a father of 3 and a respected member of the community.
Okay.
Months after he went missing, everyone, including his family, assumed he was dead.
Aw.
After 2 years in captivity, he finally got the chance to escape. Earlier in the night, before we arrived, the homeowner brought the victim's dinner down and made the mistake of leaving his phone behind. The
Idiot.
victim managed to activate Siri and call 911.
Thank God.
When we arrived on scene, the victim had already been confined in a way that prevented him from calling upstairs or making any kind of substantial noise.
Good.
Then, when I
Well,
ordered
not
him to come
good.
out,
What am I
he
saying?
froze in fear, not because he couldn't obey my command, but because he didn't want me to use lethal force, thinking that he was a threat. Once I opened the door and found him,
Okay.
we arrested the homeowner on the spot and took the victim to the hospital for immediate
Good.
treatment.
Good.
I feel incredibly lucky that no one was harmed.
Yeah.
That we could reunite this man with his family. But the most disturbing
What?
detail, which has haunted me every
Oh,
day
no.
since, is how my dispatcher described the voice of the man who made the call. Why was he speaking like a child? The only explanation that makes
What?
sense is that this man was forced to speak in that young tone of voice for so long that even when he called the station, that's the only way he could
Oh,
communicate.
God.
And if he was forced to do that, what else inside that house was he forced to do?
Oh, shit. I thought one possible reason that I came up with for why he did that is maybe he felt like a child would be more, that a child would be more easily, like, rescued, like, who is more trustworthy, an older middle-aged man or a child? Like, so that's what I thought happened. Also, like, I don't know, if the kidnapper wanted him to talk like the child, and he had a baby doll, and he had baby toys, why wouldn't he kidnap an actual child? Because think about it. If he kidnapped an actual little girl, they would probably be way easier to overpower, to take, to get, and to break. So, I don't know why he would kidnap a middle-aged man for that. Maybe he's super duper weird. But, yeah. These two were pretty scary. The doll image really messed me up. I was actually kind of really worried about what was gonna be in the basement, but we kind of cut away from that. But okay, guys, we have one more story, but this video is getting a bit long, and I think I should do that one in a part 2. So I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.